So Ravens flock, nobody talks more shit than a mediocre DB. That's a fact. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen in the past couple of days, DB Kobe Bryant
Hey, you're not Kobe Bryant to us
has
at all.
been put on blast because he took shots at Lamar. Now, for the people that don't know, he posted a picture of, it's like one of them AI pictures of James Harden wearing a Lamar Jackson jersey. And for the people that don't understand why that's disrespectful, there's a guy whose name is Toucan Sam. He works for FS1. I think his nickname is Nick Wright. But Toucan Sam has pushed this narrative for the past 2 or 3 years that Lamar is the James Harden of the NFL. And the reason he said that is because the Ravens, similar to the Rockets, have not made it all the way to a championship. And many people repeat those talking points. Clearly, Kobe Bryant has as well. Now, many Ravens fans don't realize Kobe Bryant has talked crap about Lamar in the past, by the way. He did. Like even before the draft, he had at one point called Lamar a playoff choker. Like, he has talked crazy about Lamar in the past. If I'm a regular person and I peep that, I'm pretty sure the Ravens peeped that before the draft as well, which is why they just looked right past him. Because, again, we got to remember the draft, even though a big part of it is like measuring talent and projections and all that, whatever, a big part of it is really just a job interview where they do a very extensive background check. And, they make their decisions afterwards. But I'm sure they saw that and they said, if we bring him on the team and he keeps talking like this, it would be really bad for us. See, this is the guy that would actually ruin a locker room. And the irony to me is he's talking crazy, taking jabs, obviously trying to say Lamar's a playoff choker and all that. But he went and signed, because remember, he didn't get drafted. He's not good enough. Not to say that all undrafted players are bad, but he's not good enough. Despite this being the case, he went to a team in the Atlanta Falcons who their biggest moment in the past half century was having the biggest choke in the history of the Super Bowl. I just think that's very interesting. Now, why is this guy obsessed with Lamar or feels the need to take these shots? Well, I don't know. Again, guys, mediocre DBs are some of the most disrespectful people on the planet. I don't know why, but they are. And it's a shame because on one hand, this is the media's fault. Again, people like Toucan Sam that love to try to push this idea out there that it's all Lamar's fault. But also, to be honest with you, it's also the Ravens fans' fault. But I'm gonna get to that later because I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to disrespect the Ravens fans. So we're gonna stick real quick to Mr. Kobe Bryant.
Hey, you're not Kobe Bryant to us
Now,
at all.
Kobe Bryant has done nothing. He hasn't even secured a roster spot yet. And he's talking crazy. Mind you, regardless of all the disrespect you throw at Lamar's already a bona fide Hall of Famer. That's not debatable. Lamar's already the greatest quarterback in the history of this franchise. Lamar Jackson is already the NFL's all-time leader in games with a perfect passer rating. He already has one of the highest average passer ratings for his career of all time. He already has one of the best touchdown to interception ratios of the past, really of all time too. He's already a top 5 overall quarterback ever, and he's already the greatest dual threat quarterback ever. So regardless of this disrespect, he's already solidified. All we need is that Super Bowl. And that's another reason why I want this Super Bowl. Not just because we as fans deserve it, and not just because I want everybody on the team, the players, to get their moment, but also because we have the most scrutinized quarterback of all time. And I want to run a victory lap. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been waiting for this victory lap for about 2 to 3 years, and I'm going to have my day. Y'all think it's a game. I'm going to have my day. When we win that Super Bowl, regardless of the coaches getting in the way or not, when we get there, I'm going to run a victory lap like you wouldn't believe. But either way, Kobe Bryant, I don't think he's making his team. And he better pray he makes his team, because if he doesn't make his team, I'm doubling back, by the way. I'm doubling back. We're going to revisit this. But that being said, why did I say that I think it's kind of Ravens fans' fault that, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is the most calm rant I've ever had on this channel. I feel marvelous. So in the case of Kobe,
Hey, you're not Kobe Bryant to
this
us
clown
at all.
has now, after getting pushback, he turned around and tried to play victim, tried to put up some like crocodile tears in one of his videos, put his hand on his face like he all stressed out. Oh my gosh, guys, you don't understand what you're doing to me. I wasn't even talking about Lamar, guys. You're not understanding. See, he thinks we're stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, he thinks we're stupid. He thinks we're not smarter than 5th graders. You remember that show? Are you smarter than a 5th grader? He thinks we're not smarter than 5th graders. He thinks we can't see the blatant disrespect. And Ravens fans understandably so they should be offended by this, because when they attack Lamar, they're low-key taking shots at us as a whole, and they use Lamar as a proxy, but that's neither here nor there. It's still an attack on Lamar, and it's obvious. And like I said, part of the reason I think that this happens is because of Ravens fans, believe it or not. And I'm not saying that to try to disrespect Ravens fans, but you have a lot of Ravens fans who don't like Lamar. It's obvious. Now, you have some Raven fans who are like Lamar stans. Those are more extremist. But you also have a very large, possibly the silent majority of Ravens fans who simply don't like Lamar. And these are the type of people that 3 to 4 years ago, they were telling me when I first started this channel that Lamar could be replaced by Trace McSorley and Tyler Huntley. I'm gonna leave it at that. These are the same people that they help push the Toucan Sam narrative that this team only loses in the playoffs because Lamar chokes. When in reality, we lose in the playoffs because as a team, we choke. This is bigger than Lamar Jackson, guys. Anybody who actually watches these games can see that. But unfortunately, many casual fans, as well as many Raven fans who happen to be casual, they don't look at the bigger picture. They instead look at things on a surface level, because if we call a spade, some of these people are not smarter than 5th graders. So you have a situation where everything else will go wrong on the team, but people will only focus on where Lamar messed up. Case in point, the Buffalo Bills game. Mark Andrews had one of the worst playoff games I've ever seen. And many Ravens fans, they gave him a pass. Many NFL fans gave him a pass. I don't mean to disrespect Mark Andrews, because I've been a big supporter of Mark Andrews, but I still want to call a spade a spade. The fact of the matter is, in 7 years, Mark Andrews has had only 300 yards, 0 touchdowns, 9 drops, and one of those drops caused an interception during the Titans game, which led to us just completely losing control of the game. It was just an avalanche of nonsense after that happened. But either way, when these mishaps happen, they don't blame Mark Andrews. They also forget. And they just put it all on Lamar. And this is another reason why I had a problem with Mark Andrews handling the game, post-game, the way he did. Because even though I like Mark, I lost respect for him in that moment, because I don't like the fact that when such a major moment happens, you went into hiding. You went into hiding like a coward, even though you're supposed to be a captain. You're supposed to go face the music. You see, I critiqued Zay Flowers from time to time, not because he's bad. Zay Flowers is good, but I critique him from time to time. And after that Buffalo game, I had to give Zay Flowers an apology. Zay wasn't even in the game, and I said I owe Zay Flowers an apology. Because at the very least, when Zay had his mess up as a rookie, again in the AFC Championship game when he fumbled the game-tying touchdown, he was still man enough to go face the media immediately after, even though he was traumatized. Whereas Mark, who's a 7-year veteran, who's supposed to be one of the captains, he went hiding like a coward. And I don't like that. That's never gonna sit well with me, because Mark isn't dumb. Mark knows that as long as he goes into hiding, everything will all go back to Lamar. Lamar will take all the bullets that he should have taken. And people will not want to hold. See, like I said, you have Lamar extremists that think Lamar can never do wrong, which isn't true. He's made mistakes, obviously. But then you also have a massive number of people who are Lamar haters, and they simply can't watch a game and look at it with any nuance. So they just look at everything as, well, they lost, so it's Lamar's fault. They don't want to look at the bigger picture of everything that went wrong. And you know this because when somebody else is to blame, they give him a pass. Like Mark Andrews. They're giving him a pass for the past 3 months. Even Tyler Linderbaum had a botched snap. Nobody talks about it. That's what led to the Lamar fumble in the first place, was a botched snap. Our coaches, for whatever reason, we get to the playoffs and make the most bizarre coaching decisions and personnel decisions. We're at the 2-yard line, and instead of giving the ball to Derrick Henry, the guy who, and I'm talking about the Buffalo game. Instead of us giving the ball to Derrick Henry, the guy over here who's built like an alien, the guy who's built like a Decepticon and an Autobot from Transformers, instead of us giving the ball to that guy, the greatest goal line running back of all time, you know what we did? We ran a trick play where we had Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, who's one of the only good linemen on our offensive line. We had him go out wide because we wanted to run a trick play. Insanity. Truly insane. But in those moments, nobody's going to call out the coaches. What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, it's still Lamar's fault. They're not going to say our coaches make dumb decisions. Our coaches look like they don't know what they're doing in these big moments. They're not going to say that. They're not going to. They're not going to. As soon as somebody like me points this out, many people will say, "Oh well, Lamar, Harbaugh, he won a Super Bowl without Lamar though." No, he won a Super Bowl on the backs of defensive icons. He was at the right place at the right time, and it's not me trying to disrespect Harbaugh, but that's just calling a spade a spade. And even if he did win that Super Bowl, that doesn't mean he's above criticism. But again, when these mishaps happen, they get swept under the rug. And they'll all just put it all on Lamar. And this is what Ravens fans will do. So if you're doing that, you don't think other people are going to do that? This Ravens defense has been a no-show in the playoffs for the past 7 years. For Lamar's entire career, this defense has been a no-show in January. And y'all don't want to talk about it. I made an infographic. I got to put it on the screen right now because I tried to tell y'all that, hey, this Ravens defense, they don't really create much turnovers. And one commonality that I see between all these other playoff teams is they create turnovers. So when they do that, it makes it easier for their quarterback to get a chance to make up for his mistake. Whereas when it comes to the Ravens, if Lamar makes one mistake, it's just a complete avalanche afterwards. It's an avalanche of bad events that occur. It's a series of unfortunate events that happen back to back to back, because once Lamar makes one mistake, this defense can't do anything about it because they're overrated. They have talent, but they're overrated. Some of y'all get triggered every time I bring up Roquan Smith. Mind you, I don't have a problem with Roquan Smith, but what I've been saying is, hey, I think the guy's overrated. Y'all prematurely gave him a Ray Lewis comp. He didn't deserve it. All he does is run his mouth. Tell me one thing that Roquan Smith has done in January. Nothing. You can't. It's been 3 years. He has done nothing in January that actually helped us win. Kyle Hamilton is arguably the best safety in football, and yet we get to January and Kyle Hamilton is a non-factor. The only notable thing that Kyle has done in 3 years in the playoffs is give up a touchdown to Travis Kelce. That's it. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all want to make it seem like it's all Lamar. Y'all want to make it seem like it's just this one guy who's messing up and everything's so great. This roster's so perfect. These coaches are so perfect. And it's just this one quarterback. He sucks. And it's like, that's not what's happening. What's happening is, as a team, we keep coming up short. Why? Well, a lot of reasons. But at the end of the day, y'all don't want to talk about everything that goes, well, some of y'all do, of course, but there's a lot of Ravens fans, they don't want to talk about everything that goes wrong with this team. They want to convince themselves that this defense is good enough. Meanwhile, we've only produced 3 turnovers in 7 years in the playoffs, whereas teams like the Bills in that same time period, their defense produced 14. The Chiefs in that same time period, their defense produced 23. The 49ers produced 22. The Eagles produced 19. But many of these people don't want to talk about it. They just want to put it all on Lamar's shoulders. And that's part of the reason why when we get to the first round of the draft, the whole mock draft season, I kept saying, hey, rather us go for a guard in the first round or maybe trade up to get Matthew Golden. Let's go get Gray Zabel, Donovan Jackson, Josh Simmons, or let's trade up to get Matthew Golden. Because we know these guys will help, will have immediate help for the guy who's going to get all the blame in Lamar. But many Ravens fans don't think it's necessary. This is why I feel so conflicted about the Malachi Starks pick, because even though he's a great player, ultimately, when we get to January, in all likelihood, he will not produce a turnover. And when he doesn't produce a turnover, Ravens fans are not going to admit that this was a bad idea. They're not going to admit that our defense is full of guys who, even though they have big names and high profiles, they are non-factors. This is the reality of the situation. And it's a bit disappointing, right? Because as a Ravens fan, I don't want to see us waste. I don't want to see us squander the prime of the best quarterback we've ever had. The only elite quarterback we've ever had. We're on the brink we are at risk of squandering his entire prime. And if you squander his entire prime, guess what, guys? If you're mad at Kobe Bryant,
Hey, you're not Kobe Bryant to us.
if you're mad at Kobe Bryant, I promise you, you're going to stay mad. Because if we end up wasting Lamar's entire career, we're not going to hear the end of this for decades. It'll be decades of this. Decades. I want y'all to keep that in mind when y'all get triggered when I say, hey, our defense is overrated. I want y'all to keep that in mind when I say, hey, Roquan Smith ain't producing $100 million worth of work, especially in January. I want y'all to keep that in mind when I say, hey, Madubuike ain't living up to that contract. And I really like Madubuike. I got to do a video later this summer about Madubuike also being a non-factor who's not being held accountable. Like it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. You got a guy who is single-handedly carrying our team, and you have so many fans who want to act as if everything is all his fault. When J.K. Dobbins in 2020, when we lost to the Bills, Lamar did throw a pick six. That was his fault. But guess what? Those several botch snaps that our center gave to Lamar that caused Lamar to be pushed back significantly down the field, as well as even get a concussion and have to leave the game, was that Lamar's fault? When a few plays before that, when J.K. Dobbins missed a block that disrupted what would have been an easy touchdown, was that Lamar's fault? When Mark Andrews dropped a touchdown in that game, was that Lamar's fault? In 2019, when Lamar throws a pass that hits Mark square in his hands, and Mark drops the ball pops up in the air and gets picked off by the Titans, is that Lamar's fault? When we're in the AFC Championship game and Zay Flowers fumbles at the goal line, what would have been the game-time touchdown, is that Lamar's fault? Again, I could go on and on about the different mistakes that we as a team are making. Like, again, the playoff problems is much bigger than Lamar. We have a team problem in the playoffs. As a team, we make boneheaded decisions. We shoot ourselves in the foot unnecessarily. But many Ravens fans, they themselves don't even want to acknowledge that. They want to put it square on the shoulders of Lamar, because since many people are not capable of deep thinking, or critical thinking, I should say, they just want to have one person who they can make the scapegoat. And it's cool to call Lamar the problem. And you see that with the media, because the media does the exact same thing. They just put it all on Lamar because, well, it's his fault. And that's the end of the story. And it's sad to see, because when you don't hold everybody accountable, you allow for the environment that's causing problems to keep developing, to stick around unnecessarily. And as a fan, that's very frustrating. But you know what? This video has gone on long enough. As far as Kobe Bryant,
Hey, you're not Kobe Bryant to us.
at all.
At all.
It is what it is. Let me know Did you even know who Kobe Bryant was? Do you think this Lamar slander will ever stop? And I guess what I'm really asking is, do you think we'll actually get at least one Super Bowl in this window? Because until we do that, there's no chance this disrespect will ever stop, to be honest with you.